back to back. And a pleasant good evening to all, and welcome to Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Here with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we are on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Twitch. The only thing is, of course, you won't be able to hear the music because if we play music on those that I just mentioned, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, they will definitely cut me off with the quickness. All right? Coming up in our last hour, we do a little thing we call foreplay. 4 songs by one of your favorite artists or groups, male or female. That's in our last hour here on Bedtime Stories on WOSD Radio DB Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis, and WRLN Radio. Here's Slick J. Adams. Hmm. Howdy, home neighbors. Oh, there. Deron Williams. Well, good evening, sir. Welcome to the den, as always. Hola, ¿cómo estás? I know, right? Blatantly false. Sure is. Absolutely right. Good evening, Troy. How are you, sir? Woo. How was your day, Troy? It's now Greer's bedtime series. What you say? Same as usual. I hear you. I hear you, sir. Same here. Same here. I'm just happy to have made it through the day with no bruises. Everything is okay. Hmm. I'll find the truth. Gotta make her feel it. It's so hard. And how she wants her. Woman's gotta have Ooh, excuse me. Taco Tuesday, courtesy of Chipotle. Me. Slick J. Adams. And the woman's gotta have it right here on Bedtime Story. With your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Don't forget to tell your friends about this here radio show. We appreciate you guys. Like I said, let everybody know. Now, right now, we're broadcasting on three different stations at the same time. WOSD Radio, which is mine. BiggsRadio.com, it's Radio Media, WRLN. Now, once again, if you're a fan of either one of these stations, make sure you're a fan of the show as well. All right? All right. Our number here is 773-455-4283. If you have a request, or if you're watching me right now on Facebook, just leave it there. Now, normally I don't do this. I like to play for everybody, not just one person. But check this out. The next few songs are dedicated to Troy Anthony. Since he thinks that white folks are so great in their music, how about four in a row? Blue Eyed Soul, right now. Here's Player and Baby Come Back on Bedtime Stories. Mm-mm. Let you- White people rule. Yo, Angie. Yo, Angie. Mm-mm. I was wrong. Mhm. They're good imitators of their black counterparts. Yep. Mhm. I was wrong. Put it all together. Can't find the notes tonight. Yo, Angie. Let it come back. Hello, Angie.
One of Al's dads, and you're listening to Greer with Bedtime Stories.
Look over yonder. What do you see? Ain't it beautiful? I will say this about Chipotle's today. They weren't stingy with the meat. I think because it was close to closing time, throw it away, uh, refreeze it. So I lucked up. They gave me a whole scoop of it. I'm like, oh, and a half a pound of guacamole. That's what's up. What makes the difference? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brotherhood. Ah, woo! I needed that. Never worry about coyotes. Are funny. It's all about Blue Eyed Soul in our first hour here on Bedtime Stories. Tommy James and the Shondells. Crystal Blue Persuasion right here on Bedtime Stories. With your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to my sister from another mister, Angie Martin Turner. Angie, I started to come back over today and get some more food. I'm sure my nephew Richie probably cleaned you out, but that's okay. I'm sure something left there. Also, Deron Williams, thank you for being on my live. Troy wants to know how often did you sleep in a tent in the backyard while you were a kid, and did you ever worry about coyotes? No. I remember the first time when I was a kid that I spent the night outside of the house. I had to ask both parents. By the way, today would have been my dad's birthday, right? So the person that I asked first was my dad. He said, "Ask your mama." I'm like, "Okay." So I asked her. She said, "Ask your daddy." Like, okay. So we spent the night next door in a tent with our next door neighbor and a couple of his cousins. And everything was cool. No coyotes or other wild animals running around. So it was kind of cool. And it was in the South Shore area. So it was all good. As we continue with Blue Eyed Soul this hour on Bedtime Stories with the Farragher brothers. Never Get Your Love Behind Me. Yeah, my parents didn't play that spending the night over other people's houses. I don't know. Well, I didn't know why at the time, but when I got older, I understood. You know, I understood as I got older why she didn't want us spending the night over anyone else's house. And I kind of sort of learned the hard way with my kids. You can't leave your children with other people that you don't really know. You have to know them extremely well. Their character, their background, everything. You have to know them extremely well to let your children spend the night. Otherwise, you know, bad things will happen. I'll just leave it that way. Everyone isn't the same, with their children as they are with other people's children. I'm just saying. So, unfortunately, there's always you know, that chance that they got a crazy uncle in from town, or they just got out of jail or something like that, and you leave your kid over that particular night. I'm just saying, he been locked up for umpteen years, and it's like you leave your little boys or little girls in somebody else's house, and the uncle just got home from jail. I'm just saying, you know, it's the makings of a Tyler Perry movie or a Lifetime movie or whichever. a BET movie. So you just don't. You know, it's just not safe. You know, it's quite unfortunate that you can't, but it is what it is. I mean, if you leave your kids with someone that you really and truly trust, it's very rare. Very, you know, like I said, we didn't spend the night at anybody's house growing up until we got grown, or at least almost grown. Like that night that, we spent the night sleeping in a tent next door. You know, there were other neighbors' children there as well. But yeah, my dad didn't play. Not saying that my did you always spend entire summers up north at your family's summer home? Was it most of the summer? we we would go to my great uncle's house in Battle Creek, Michigan. Uncle Oscar, aka the Dutchman. Oscar was my grandmother's brother, and they called him the Dutchman because he had light colored eyes. He said he would never move back to Chicago. I was like, wow. He said, yeah, I lived in Chicago. I'm never moving back to Chicago. And he passed. He passed in Battle Creek, Michigan, home of Kellogg. Yeah. I keep on desirable like you. I know, right? But yep. My great uncle Oscar said, Oscar Stewart said he would never move back to Chicago. Yeah. And my uncle was fair skinned. He was very, very fair skinned, to the point of appearing white, which I think how is probably how he passed for so many years, you know, until he opened his mouth and it was like, oh, definitely not. It's definitely not Caucasian. Caucasian. Bobby Caldwell. What you won't do for love. When they first put out Bobby Caldwell's 45, a lot of people just assumed he was black because he was on a black label, which was TK Records, along with Timmy Thomas and Casey and the Sunshine Band, Lattimore, um, the McCrae's, George, and his wife. Anyway, they were all on TK Records. It was a black label out of Florida. So everybody just assumed that Bobby Caldwell was, a brother too, until they finally put out an album cover with his picture on it. They were like, "You mean to tell me?" Yeah, he's of the Caucasian persuasion. And here he is with Paulette McWilliams. This is "I Remember Clifford." How did you decide between the Mustang convertible and a Camaro as your first car? My first car was actually, what was it? It was an Opel GT. Later on, I got my other first sports car was a Camaro. Yep, yep, I had a Camaro, and that Camaro was fast, very fast, extremely. I never got. I wanted the Mach. What was the Mach 5 or something like that? The Mach, whatever that model of Mustang that came out. I wanted that one, but I settled for this Camaro. Did I mention the Camaro was very fast? It was. Woo, and it had one of those easy accelerators too. You could slip up and phew, yeah, it put any other car to shame. Put the car to shame. Any other car, and people always wanted to race me, and they just assumed that, you know, that I wanted to race them. I'm like, oh no, oh no, mhm, not in this car. Then I ended up getting my brother's Beretta, Chevy Beretta. That was fast too. That had a Camaro engine in it. That Joker was fast too. Yeah, yeah. But before I check out of here, I want to at least get one Mustang. That's my midlife crisis car. Yep, that's my midlife crisis car. Mustang. Don't matter which one it is, either. Anyone will do. Yep. I've had just about every car. The car that I wanted was the HHR. I first saw the what was it, PT Coupe. I fell in love with it because it came in different styles. It had a convertible and everything. And then I saw the HHR, and everybody said, "Man, that looked like a hearse." I'm like, "Please, that was a good car. That was a good car." But yep, that first one was the Opel GT, or the Baby Vet as they call it. It was a four-speed stick. And it was fast. It was fast.
Please go doctor with your prescription. Now, Greer, bedtime stories. To my head and to linger like when I find you.
When your family would take your motorhome to Cedar Point on vacation, did you sleep in that area above the seats and the window? Yeah. Oh, you watching some infomercials or something, Troy? Lord. Cedar Point. Don't think I've ever been to Cedar Point. I have been to Battle Creek though. Yep, the old Battle. Paulette McWilliams, and Bobby Caldwell. You go to my head right here on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. That is such an old song. You go to my head, yeah. And it's been covered by just about everybody. Now, Dorva, she said she didn't know that Bobby Caldwell was not a brother. But yeah, but did you know that Paul and Oates weren't brothers either? Nor were they related for that. Here's Daryl Hall, John Oates. She's gone as we celebrate some Blue Eyed Soul in the first hour here on Bedtime Stories. Mm-mm-mm-mm. She's gone. Oh, wow. Ken Dub, what's going on, sir? What went wrong? For sure. Dodo. Dodo. Oh, Quinn. Mm-mm. We're doing Blue Line Soul this hour. Hall and Oates, one on one, right right here on Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed but never to sleep with the great love songs. Oh, Quinn with his record. I'm not trying to be a smart, but why don't you do a show? That's all I'm saying. I'm like, he has these weird requests. I'm like, why don't you do a show? I'll be happy to put you on my station. You know, you can play whatever you want to play. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al. This is Bedtime Stories. And I salute to Blue Eyed Soul for Troy. White folks are awesome. Yeah, they're good, quick stuff of our music. Here's AWB from Scotland. The love of your heart. Ooh, Lord. Y'all be happy. I sure you did back in the day. I used to roll with Herb Kent and Richard McGee, Jim Rags and Bobby O.J., Curtis Fan and Rodney Jones. All of them, sir. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. But I thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. But, it's kind of hard to find these songs in the middle. Like I said, if you like to do a show on WOSD, you can play all of these obscure songs as you like. I don't mind. But yeah, every night I'm like, but I understand. I mean, everybody's not as good as you are. I'm sure, especially not me. I'm probably not in that category of people that you have worked with. I remember Kenny B back in the day, and I listened to his music, and he was pretty good um, for that time zone, which was on Saturday nights, where you know everybody listened to stepping music on that particular show. So, but I understand, yeah, and I, while you praise those that were, street jocks, I worked with some of the radio guys, and that's pretty much it, you know. And I thank you for listening, but you know, every night is a different request that I have to find on YouTube, and it's you know little tedious because I'm limited what I can do. So, but I appreciate you listening, and maybe one of these days I'll be as good as those people that you work with, you know, as opposed to those that I work with, Herb Ken, Richard McGee, those scrubs as you call them. So I'm just a peon. I'm just a student of them, and try to do the best that I can with what I have. So, I appreciate that. But, I appreciate you listening. Keeps from getting bored. Well, I'm not bored. You're bored. I'm straight. I got folks listening to me. You may not believe this, but I have people listening to me. And, they appreciate the music. And they like what I play. They roll with me, no matter what I play. So, but I never get bored playing music. I haven't gotten bored in 41 years. But once again, I thank you for listening. And while no one is perfect and nobody has everything, and everybody has a different ear for music, um, I thank you for this. I appreciate it. But, you know, um, certain requests, you know, I mean, you know, virtually played everything that you asked me for thus far, but you know, now it's kind of like, you know, it's like it's like I'm being tested. It's like when I'm at a club and they say, "Hey, man, do you have Mine on Mine by the Stylistics?" I'm like, "Why wouldn't I?" Just it's just something that you would have in your arsenal. But these songs, these were like B sides, and I get it. We try to play as many B sides as we can, but don't ever think that I get bored playing music. I've been in radio for quite a while, 41 years, a DJ, radio personality, and stuff. So me, haven't gotten bored yet. I plan to go out doing this. Blue Eyed Soul from AW. It is love of here on Bedtime Stories from the album Soul Searching. It's your peanut butter brother. Excuse me. Your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Oh, Quinn Holmes, he's testing me, I guess. He said, I just like to hear the cuts. Well, um, okay. I don't know what to say. It's like he's asking me for these songs, and I'm like, I can't even find them fast enough. Uh, the computer that I'm using is kind of old, so it's hard to download music on the fly. If I don't have it, you know, ask me for something that you think that I might have. So he says, no test. I just like to hear the cuts. Okay, well, it sounds like you have these songs already, so there's no need for me. You don't need me, I guess. Anyway, Bedtime Stories are sponsored by Bedtime Stories is sponsored by good friends at Coca-Cola. Right here on Bedtime Stories on WOSD Radio, DV Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis, Chicago, as well as WRLN Radio, a radio media station. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. And this, of course, the greatest love song of all time. And not because I say so. It's a lot of people who do listen and listen on a regular basis, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to tell your friends about Bedtime Stories. If you like it, follow us on Facebook, Twitch, and of course, tonight on YouTube. Here is my godfather. This is Jerry Butler, along with Brenda Eager in Understanding Mellow on Bedtime Stories. Well, sir, it's nice to be needed. You know, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. But thank you. If I didn't like what you play, I would tune in, and I appreciate that as well. You know, but as a DJ or a radio personality, whatever, I like to play a broad variety of music that everybody remembers, and not just one individual. If you know what I'm saying, you know. Not that your songs aren't good, and I try to play as many as I can, but that's that's not what we're here for. We're here to um, play for everyone. If I played music that I only liked, I don't think anybody would listen to me because they'd be like, okay, you're playing some stuff we don't you know, we haven't heard of. So, but yeah, I appreciate that. But like I said, we try to appease everyone and not just individuals. It's like I learned that from Richard McGee. That you can't play for yourself because unless you're going to pay yourself, then that's what you do. But you know, I like to play for the audience. I, one individual. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I learned Richard. I also learned that from Sam Chapman watching him spin and watching him keep the dance floor packed. That's where we are with that. No disrespect. I'm sure you've been doing this long before I was born, but I've always listened to those that came before me and tried to pattern myself after them. And you know, because some DJs can play a whole bunch of stuff that nobody remembers, and then be like, you know, because I remember when I was young, I was I was considered a smart ass. Somebody asked me to play the Isley Brothers, and I would play Shout, and they'd be like, "No, no, man, the Isley Brothers." I said, "That is the Isley Brothers." Shout, 1958, and they get mad at me. They'd be like, "What kind of DJ are you?" Like, well, you asked, ask me for a specific Isley Brothers song, whether it be slow, mid tempo, or fast. You said play the Isley Brothers, so you left it up to me to pick which one to play. So therefore, I'm not being a butthole or anything. I just played an Isley Brothers too. You know, I was out once, and my then fiance said, "Why don't you play what these people want to hear?" I said, "Well, that's not what I play." And she said, "You got to play to the crowd. It doesn't matter you know what and who you played for. You have to play to this 40-year-old crowd. This is not your senior crowd that you're used to DJing." And I was like, okay. So I did do that, and every time I got a gig that I wasn't familiar with, a crowd that I wasn't uh, comfortable with, I would ask them for a playlist so that I could play what they wanted to hear. Now, if I'm doing a senior set or whatever, I know it's basic stuff. Isaac Brothers, Whispers, OJ's, Al Green, Tyrone Davis, stuff like that. That's for the crowd that I'm used to DJing for. But these 40-year-olds, they want to hear this avant-garde type, you know, neo soul cocktail, what I call cocktail table music. You know, artists who are trying to sound like older artists, but they're trying to infuse their own style in there. I listen to um, some of that neo soul stuff. One of my favorites so far has been October London because he sounds so much like Marvin Gaye. It's like he's channeling Marvin on like every song that he does. Everything sounds like a sample of a Marvin Gaye song, and he's just crooning over it like Marvin Gaye. But you know, I'm just you know, I guess you could say a chameleon. You know, You know. Yeah. Troy said, "It's a demand." You know.
Let's do.
Yeah. There was this guy Leslie. I forget Leslie's last name. L used to play together. Leslie said he refused to do black folk sets. He said because they asked for the same thing all over and over again, and he found it. You know, he found his niche. You know, playing Beatles, the Beach Boys, and all of that stuff. Plus, he said it paid a whole lot more than if he was DJing for his own people, and I understood that. Truly wrote from the Iceman, Jerry Butler. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories, the show designed with the lovers in mind. Where we put you to bed, but never sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. Some songs were so good. How good were they, Al? They were so good that some producers would produce that song on other groups, or they would find a song that was not quite a hit back in the day, and they would re-record it. Well, this is one of those songs. This is Blue Magic and their version of The Loneliest House on the Block from 13 Blue Magic Lane on Bedtime Stories. Leslie Richmond, him and Ernest L. Yep, Ernest was known for playing stuff that only Ernest remember. Ernest and Richard Peggy, you know. Yep, those were some of the coolest guys that I learned from. You know, like I said, Ernest had all the equipment. I mean, he had these triamp systems that would just, whew, it would break my back just looking at it. Play music in other cities for younger, non-black, younger folks. So I have to go to Sirius and go to the top 20 and get music. Yeah, that's what I do. Um, I'll go to the radio station websites, and it always gives you the top 10. Well, at least VCI does. So it's those top 10 songs that I play over and over again at a younger person set, and grab some mixes off of YouTube so they can be satisfied. So yeah, yeah, Coterie 7, yeah. But that's who I learned from. Those guys. Was, I remember when Richard Peggy passed, we had, I think we had like three DJs that night. Um, One of them came from Cleveland, and he played. Um, my uncle, who plays blues, he played that night, but it was only two people that could hold the crowd. That was Ray Neal and myself. Everybody else, they kind of missed the mark. They wanted to go on guard on people. And the Dusty Record Convention is usually up tempo songs followed by maybe 2 or 3 sets of slow music and or seven. But ever since then, there's only been one DJ for the convention. That's been Ray Neal, because he was the only one that seemed to capture the spirit of Richard. Besides myself, I took myself out of the equation. But Ray has quite and you know, I follow Ray, and that's it. It's, he puts down the money for the places. He gets the uh, uh, security and everything. Brings all of his equipment out of the house. It's like Ernest L used to. So, you know, but we learned. Ray and we learned from the best. He from Richard and me from Herb. So there was one year that they were going to cancel the convention, and Ray was in the hospital, so they didn't want to continue with it. So Mama P, Mrs. McGee, she decided she was going to hold back and wait for Ray to get better. And I understood. I had no choice but to understand, because she had put that money up for that. So I was like, I'm not going to touch that. No. So I left it alone, and I let Ray do it, and I support him. You know, I do. I stand behind him. I help him with the equipment when he's setting it up. You know, no matter how strange it looks to me, I'm like, this goes where? Okay. But the end result is that it's loud enough to cover St. Ethelreda. And that's it. That's the bottom line. No matter how he has it hooked up with different mixers, and, he got 2 or 3 mixers at one time, and, different sets of speakers and everything. None of it matches. I'm like, but at the end of the day, it sounds great. Nobody can tell. It's Gary rigged together. But once again, I follow him, because he's got the crowd. I have my little following, but those who used to follow Richard follow him, and those who followed her follow me. Sometimes I like to think that they did. So, but we together try to continue bringing those who will listen this music, because nobody else is playing it. I mean, if you go to Sirius XM, they're going to play the top 10. Period. Whatever that artist put out, they're going to play that top 10 of that artist. They're not going to deviate from their playlist. They're only going to play the hits. The top 5 or top 10 songs of that particular artist. You're not going to hear anything different. You're not going to hear Much Better Off by Smokey. You're not going to hear Swept for You by Smokey. You're only going to hear the top Tears of a Clown, Ooh Baby Baby, Second That Emotion, Special Occasion. Yeah. The top 10. You're not going to hear the B-sides, Much Better Off, the Ooh Be My Love. You ain't going to hear that. Forget about it. Yeah, it's commercially formatted. You're not going to hear what we what we play, and that's it. Yeah. Same song, different artists. I need a drop for that. The Loneliest House on the Block, Little Anthony and the Imperials, from their album On a New Street. Before that, same song, different artists from Blue Magic, Loneliest House on the Block, from their 13 Blue Magic Lane album. Should be Peanut Butter Brother Dr. Al Greer. Oakwood and I having a conversation about the music on certain radio stations. And I don't want to talk about them. They only play the top 10. They play everything that they feel that the masses want. They might only play the top five for that particular artist. So, for instance, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, you'll only hear Second That Emotion, Ooh Baby Baby, Special Occasion, um, Tears of a Clown, and one other Smokey song, Mickey's Monkey. You'll probably only hear those songs. You won't hear "Oh Be My Love" or "Give Her Up." You won't play. You won't hear stuff like that. Not on that particular station because they have a straight playlist. But us, we stretch out. Hear the Manhattans and their version of Just the Lonely Talking again. You hear it on that other station that you have to pay for. I'm just, I'm just saying. It's bedtime stories with the peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. But when I was younger, older DJs would always, I bet you don't have this, young man. I'm like, okay, bet you I don't have it either. And then they'll come over to me, what you know about that? You know, they went as far as telling me that one DJ said I come to their parties and I take notes. I was like, huh? Yeah. The guy said I was coming to their stepper sets and I was taking notes. I was like, wow. I was um, I was floored. I was like, wow. Um, I was like, you really think that? So I have no mind of my own. I'm going to remember what a DJ played at another set, or I'm going to write it down and then play it at the next set that I do. I was like, wow. I was like, okay. So that particular DJ hired me for a gig. This was some years ago. I was the uh, program director at WJPC, owned by Johnson Publishing Company, which at that time was on 106.3 FM. And the guy hired me to do his weekly Friday night set. I said, okay, cool. I'm there. So I got there, I played my set, floor stayed packed all night. He was taking notes. I'm not going to say who he was, but popular Chicago DJ used to, have Friday night house party sets at this hotel downtown. But Yeah, he felt like I was too young to know what I was doing. You know, I was just some whippersnapper, just pretending like I knew these songs. Right? I grew up listening to this. So that was it. Yep. But I just thought that was kind of strange that he would say that to me. Like, wow. So one night he came down to the radio station where Richard Peggy and I were working, and that was Dusty Radio 90. And he kind of challenged me, like, what are you doing here? I'm like, doing an airship, sir. That's what I'm doing here. What are you doing here? But no, he was palling around with Richard. And if you guess the name, I'll tell you. But he felt like I didn't belong there. You know, like I was too young to know the music. That only those who grew up in that era, you know, should be playing that music. And I was a quick study. I was a sponge. I absorbed as much as I could. But like I said, that particular gentleman, whose name I won't mention, you know, who is good friends with Uncle Sam. And like I said, if you say the name, I will either nod my head or give you a thumbs up. But I don't hear of him doing too many gigs these days. You know, I haven't heard too much from him. You know, and once again, I try not to be that hot shot. Nope, not him. Would you say Armin? His initials are LG. Let's just leave it at that. But he felt like I was not qualified to be on the radio playing these songs that were 30, 40 years. Well, at that time, they were like 20, 30 years. Now it's like 40 years old. I'm like, bruh, sir, I didn't hire me. They did. Maybe if you put your application in, you would have gotten hired had you been in radio. That's the first thing. You should be a radio DJ first. And not think that, because and Reggie Miles and I had this conversation a few years ago about people who are street jocks, street beat, think that they can be on the radio talking about, yeah, y'all, yeah, y'all, we doing this, yeah, y'all, yeah, do that, yeah, pulling the fader down and talking on, yeah, y'all, this, that, and y'all, you you know, and it becomes annoying after a while. It's like, this man actually has nothing to say. But hey, y'all, yeah, y'all, y'all, hey, y'all, There was a DJ, he called himself DJ Swift. His real name was Reginald something. But that's all he did when he turned on the mic. And yeah, y'all. So I started calling him DJ y'all. But that's all he had to say. Y'all. Yeah, y'all and y'all. I guess that was his rap, you know. Right. Street jocks don't have to follow the strings. You know. The radio guys would have uh, so much to say and so much time to say it. We didn't have time to figure it out. Like y'all. Most of the time, we were reading cue cards or 3x5 cards, and we were reading what we were told to say. That was it. And we would improvise the rest of the stuff. But this guy, everything out of his mouth was, yeah, y'all, yeah, y'all over there, y'all, yeah, hey, girl in the red dress, y'all, hey, homie, y'all, hey, get off my speakers, y'all. You know, but that's it. You have the original, and then you have the remake. The Manhattans, just the lonely talking. Before that, Whitney Houston, her version, just the lonely talking on Bedtime Stories. The show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed and never to sleep with the greatest love songs of all time. With your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Our number here is 773-455-4283. Coming up in about half an hour, we will call foreplay. Four songs by one of your favorite artists or groups, male or female. We're talking about certain songs that you don't hear on the radio. And there's a reason for that. What they do is they do this thing called research. They get a whole bunch of people in a room and they play the hooks of the songs to get a reaction out of them. And getting that reaction, that's how they come up with their playlist. I worked at a station that had a playlist of 500 songs. Now, if you multiply or divide 500 songs into 24 hours a day, then chances are you're going to hear that same song coming up maybe a day or two later in that same slot, even though they have computers to, juggle the music, shuffle it, random, that kind of thing. Like you could put a whole bunch of CDs in the machine and just let it shuffle, right? But certain songs by certain artists, they would never play. Like we grew up, we played the whole album, right? We played the B side of the 45. And sometimes, we would find a gem on side two or on the LP that was just as good as the A side. Here's a perfect example from Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Woo, this bass is on this song. Jameson made his money that day, boy. Cut me off for that. Just the 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cut me off for that. Yeah. But every now and then, a good street jock would make the transition from being a good street jock to being a radio personality. Everybody wasn't the same. You know, you know, everybody didn't have, a radio voice. You know, they found Kenny B. Thompson playing this music in this club, and they were like, Lee Michaels capitalized on the, I guess, the strength of this Chicago music called steppin'. So he put steppin' on the radio on BMX back in the day, and then he created Hot Mix 5, which played house music. So he had every Chicago music genre represented on the radio on the weekends. And that's what I love about Lee Michaels. He created the Hot Mix 5 of what he thought were Chicago's hottest DJs at the time. So it's the genius that is of Lee Michaels, for coming up with this idea to bring steppers music to the radio. And to this day, that show is still on B103, still playing steppers music. But it was something that he discovered that we knew all along, and that was it. That music that that was called stepping. It was in a genre all by itself, like Quiet Storm. Quiet Storm was nothing more than taking all the fast songs out of the playlist, playing all the slow songs that were in between. And that was it. So yeah, we just played, and we gave it a name, which was the name of Smokey's album, A Quiet Storm. So every black station around the country adapted this late night. Uh, I guess you could say it was a genre of music, or this late night format, which was known as the Quiet Storm. It had different names, Pillow Talk, uh, nighttime music, uh, you know, Whispers in the Dark, bedtime stories. It's all the same. So at the time, I was on 1390, and I was, doing what the other jocks were doing. I was hollering, hey, hey, So that was it. Quiet down and use the lower register of my voice. Right, night moves, yeah. Two in a row from Smokey and the Miracles. Oh, right here on Bedtime Story. Much better off, which has such a lovely bass line in it, played by great, incomparable James Jameson of the Funk Brothers. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Amber. We're about 23 minutes away from foreplay, and we're just talking about the different formats of music. Now, a long time ago, there was a gentleman in Washington, D.C., worked at a station called WHUR. And just messing around, he came up with a format. And that format he called Quiet Storm, which he would take requests from the phone lines and just make it all about the people who were listening. He made it personal. And thank you to that guy who ended up not only just being a DJ, he ended up on television as well on BET, but he made his transition way too early. 38 years old. I was like, wow. He was, yeah. His name escapes me right now. It'll come back to me later, but he came up with this whole format, and of course, we salute him as I mean, I'd still be playing fast music, right? Here's Andre Ward with a little help from Chantel Hampton, originally done by Chicago's own Emotion. This is Don't Ask My Neighbors on Bedtime Stories. Melvin Lindsay, that's his name. Melvin Lindsay. Yep, that was his name, Melvin Lindsay. And he came up with this whole Quiet Storm format, where all he did was just take all the fast songs out of the regular playlist and play those that were in between and made the format out, which we now know as the Quiet Storm. And a lot of singers have capitalized on doing this Quiet Storm thing. You know, some of them have crossed over into the arena of being a radio host. You know, Rob Tresvant, I'll be sure, people like that. I'm like, my thing is stay in your lane. You know, continue doing your singing thing. And don't, yeah, don't try to steal from us. Like, yeah, Keith Sweat, I'll be sure. I'm like, stay in your lane. You know, if you don't have it, don't do it. You know, don't let somebody talk you into something that where you're out of your league, so to say. You know, but it is what it is. You know, my thing is, I think they're taking jobs from other jocks. You know, like back in the day, we had Von Harper, who was on WBLS in New York. I mean, his voice was as deep or probably deeper than Melvin Franklin sensations. I mean, deeper than Blue Lovett of the Manhattan. I mean, just stupid deep, you know. But that's what it called for, you know, to have that time voice, that personality that could complement the music. So, but trust me, I wasn't trying to be Mr. Quiet Storm. I just wasn't, you know. But it just happened. You know, it just ended up that. But you know, there's an old saying. They say flattery, imitation is the finest form of flattery. Well, I don't think it's flattering. These guys, you know, taking money out of our pockets, trying to be Quiet Storm DJs or Quiet Storm performers. I don't think it's flattering at all. I think it's kind of disrespectful. But I just feel like they're taking a job out of somebody else's uh, resume, so to say. So, but it's true. It's cool, but it isn't. When I listen to other stations and I hear, hey, what kind, who you want to holler at? I'm like, shut up. I know, right? But don't I don't knock their hustle. Trust me, I don't knock the hustle. It's when you can't get hit records. What do? To keep afloat? You play your own songs on the radio. Two of some of the greatest writers of all time are now doing quiet storm shows back to back in different cities. So, you know, but I say this to say that I got next. That's all I'm saying. I got next. I don't sing. I stay in my lane, and that's it. So, that's what I do. It's called stay in your lane. It's just like you have actors who are doing voiceovers. Keith David and Samuel Jackson and Morgan Freeman. Actors who are doing uh, radio and TV commercials because they have the most recognizable voices. You know, once again, taking food off of our table. You know, I'm just saying, it's always good to be able to promote your own music tours while playing to a defined open radio market. I guess so. Um, but my thing is, if you're a good enough artist, you don't have to promote. Like, you never would have heard Prince on the radio being a quiet storm job. Prince didn't need that. You know, they would have one commercial, Prince, one night only, bam, sold out in an hour. But I guess you had to be that kind of artist where you didn't have to promote yourself as much. You know, and Prince was a crossover artist, and that was it. He did what he did, and that's it. You know, run one commercial, and then they had to retract the commercial because it sold out in an hour. I don't see a Keith Sweat concert sell an hour. Maybe a couple of days, but not an hour. The emotions and don't ask my name. Come to me. Don't be afraid. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer, 12 minutes away from foreplay. We got some Night Soul leftovers from last hour. From the Person to Person album, here's AWB Live with Cloudy on Bedtime. Cloudy. The Cake album. They were so cool. They call them what they call albums. What we call them. Yeah, the Cake album. Yeah, the Black album. Yeah, the White album. You know the one with the girl booty on the W is the booty. And the old time players. Oh my god, I don't think they ever crossed over. You know, their songs crossed over though. You know, you had the Red Hot Chili Peppers doing "Love Roller Coaster." The group themselves, nope, never crossed over. The Commodores didn't cross over till they started doing, you know, Easy and Three Times a Lady and Just to Be Close to You. And yeah, before that, you know, the closest they got was Brick House. White girls even thought they were Brick House as well. But, you know, they had songs like Fancy Dancer and, you know, Too Hot to Try. You know, they weren't feeling those songs. Came out with Brick House. Oh my goodness. And Brick House was the beginning of the end. No, right? The Red Hot Chili Peppers had their bass, yeah. But that's how it was, you know. And it's always been like that, you know. White artists, you know, got a hold of our songs and said, "Oh man, this is a good song. We can remake it." You know, it all started with Mr. Pat Boone doing Tutti Frutti and getting the hit out. So yeah, he was writing country western back then. You know, you know, Sail On and Easy. I mean, whoa, you can't get no whiter than that. Easy. Sail on down the line and I gave you my heart. You gave me nothing in return. Girl, it ain't so hard to say. Would you please just go away? Yep. Sail on.
Hi, this is Natasha, one of Alan's friends, and you're listening to Bedtime Stories.
Okay, who should we do in foreplay tonight? Tonight. Someone to. 1, 2. Ooh, that song used to do something to me. John B. and Babyface, Someone to Love. Got Bedtime Stories. With the Peanut Butter Brother Johnson. Of course, this is a show designed with the lovers in mind, where we put you to bed, but never to sleep. Don't mind me tonight. Yeah, I had too many things on my mind. I was like, okay, my mind needs to rest. I said, well, when I get off the air, I can rest my mind. But right now, we're getting ready for But first, a word from tonight's sponsor for our second hour. That's right. Get your tickets now. I got mine. See Babyface at the Hard Rock Cafe. With your peanut butter brother, Al Greer. This is Bedtime Stories on WOSD Radio TV Chicago, WDLB Indianapolis, WRLN Radio, a Renewal media station. It's time for foreplay. These guys met while palling around in college. They went to Tuskegee Institute down in Alabama, where they all met. They put together a group called the Jays. Well, there was already a group called the OJs, so they had to come up with another name. And then there was a guy who used to pal around with them. And they used to see him on campus walk around with this horn case. And they wondered, did he really play the saxophone? So one day they asked him to join the group, and as luck would have it, he was also a songwriter as well. So he was a welcome addition to the group, the Jays, who became the Commodores, featuring Lionel Richie. Tonight, in foreplay, is the extended version of Zoom on Bedtime Stories with your peanut butter brother, Dr. Alan Greer. This is foreplay. Be just a foolish dreamer, but I don't care. I don't care. No, it's funny. I don't count down the minutes when I'm doing my show. When I'm at the station at VON, I'm like, oh Lord, I got one more hour left. Like, oh Lord, oh, one more hour. Okay. One more hour. Oh, 30 minutes. Oh Lord. Oh, it's just crawling. Woo, excuse me. Yeah, buddy. Yep, Lionel was writing country music back then. And we were buying it too. We were buying it. We were playing it. We were, yeah, all of that. Uh, I'm back. Woo! Don't get more country than that. Yeehaw! Zoom. Man, I got on YouTube for nothing. Ain't nobody on YouTube. Nobody.
Inside Bedtime Stories with Greer.
Yep, it don't get more country than that. Yeah. What do you expect, brothers from Alabama, from down south? Walter Clyde Orange, who was the drummer and lead singer at the time. Lionel Richie wasn't the lead singer of the group. Uh, Walter Clyde Orange was the original lead singer. Yeah, he sang on all of the early hits. You know, too hot to trot. Saying, yo, too hot to trot now, baby. You know, Lionel, he chimed in later on. Yeah, I sang on Brick House, not Lionel. But when asked, Lionel will do Brick House. That ain't his song, but hey, he didn't even write Brick House. Brick House was written by the lead singer. So there was no, you know, wasn't no easy and three times a lady and all that. That didn't come till later. Then all of a sudden, oh my God, this Lionel Richie boy, he's a creative genius. He's a crossover genius. That's what we did. Well, at the time, that's what Motown needed. They had just moved to LA, so they needed to regroup. Left in Fancy Nancy. Yeah, that was multiplied north. Wasn't Lionel. Yeah, yeah, you are Fancy Nancy. You're so bad that only one thing I could say. Yeah, yeah, you're my fancy dancer. That's Clyde all day long, man. He's like, sing it, Lionel. Like, nope, no Lionel. But when we found out that the two of them sounded almost exactly alike, it was like, you could not tell them apart. You know, whether it was Lionel or Clyde at that point. But you could tell all of Lionel's songs, all of them were deep love songs written for his then wife Brenda Rich, who one night, yeah, sure did. She kicked his tail one night. Found out he was cheating. Found him cheating. Went to the hotel. Like, dang, Brenda. After he wrote all them beautiful love songs to her. Yes, her once, twice, three times late. She beat him once, twice, three times in the groin area. She helped him raise a child that wasn't even his. Yep. But you say you didn't. Nobody understood that one. I'm like, you bring in a little. I don't even know what color she. Malaysian or something, black and Caucasian, and he took her in, and he and Brenda raised this little person. She was pastel. Ah! Pastel. I was like, check him out. And then she became friends with Kim Kardashian. Who knew, right? And after that, we didn't hear from her no more. Little Miss Richie, done. Kim kicked her to the curb. You get your half and half cell phone gone. She's with the hotel. Yeah, she sure was. She's with the hotel, Paris Hilton. Sure was. Yep. She was with Paris Hilton. Now, whoop, you made my directions so clear. Whoop. Yep, you know who wrote those songs. That was Lionel all day long. Now that's Walter. That's Walter singing. That's not Lionel. This is Lionel. That's still Walter. He was on the boat. So that's Walter, uh, Clyde Orange, and Lionel Brockman Ritchie. Girl, October 5th. So what am I doing October 5th? Nothing out. Together, babe. Girl, make it for the moment, baby. for the moment, baby. 1925 North Halsted, wherever that is. Do. from their last album altogether, meaning before Lion left. The album was called Midnight Magic. Wonderland was the cut. I think that was the only cut that we played on the radio off of that album. For that, yeah, pretty much done after that. It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Yeah, oh, until they did Night Shift. It was like they were on the up. Anyway, and, J.D. Nicholas replaced Lionel Richie, having left Heat Wave. How about that? It's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Hello to Kimberly Patterson, who listens. I think she listens every night. I'm not sure, but I think she listens to me every night that I'm on. And I appreciate you. Thank you, KP. For you, it's Bobby Brown. Cheese and macaroni. The tenderoni is on for you. Make it official. You found your man. Stands out in the crowd. Tenderoni, and the Roni is so white. You can want to love it for the rest of my life. Yeah, yeah. out in the crowd. Cheese and macaroni. All night long. Nobody on YouTube. Wow. Zero. Sweet music. I know. Bobby Brown times two. Rock with me all night. I'm sorry, rock with ya. It is your peanut butter brother, Dr. Alan Greer. Hello to my sister from another mister, Yolanda Carter. Party on October 5th. It's going to be her celebration for domestic violence, and I'll be there, sis. I just got to find something to purple. Anyway, it's your peanut butter brother, Dr. Al Greer. Those songs going out to Miss Patterson. Thanks for listening. Bedtime stories. Here's Belle, Bill, and the Boat. When I see you smile again. I see you smile. I know I messed up.
This is Miss Delicious, and you're listening to my Big Daddy, Adam Greer, with Bedtime Stories.
Mm, mm. How about you, not and do? His first big hits, Night and Day from L.B. Sure, right here on Bedtime Stories. So designed with the lovers in mind, ready to bed, but never to sleep, the greatest love songs of all time. L.B. Sure was part of that whole ensemble who sung on the back on the Black album, back on the Black album, which was by Quincy Jones. I'll be sure, along with James Ingram, El DeBarge, and who else was on that song? Oh, my daddy Barry White, of course. Now, originally, Michael Jackson was supposed to sing. So the stanza or the verse in there where not Al B. Sure. The verse where Elder Barge comes in. That was supposed to be Michael Jackson's part. If you notice, L is singing in the style of Michael Jackson. Well, Mike was supposed to be on that. He's like, "Why did you do that?" "Oh, we'll get Elder Barge to do it. Don't worry about it. We got you." But it became one of Quincy Jones's most popular songs. And every time it came on the radio, oh my, just it would just fill the car with sound. Thanks to master producer, I'm sorry, master engineer Bruce Swedin. Let me stop talking to play this damn song. Here's The Secret Garden on Bedtime Stories. Goodness. Secrets. Come on tonight. And this was Mike's part. Mike know he should have sang that. He probably hit himself in the butt. That's Mike all day long. Come on in, Big Daddy. Help him out. And this arrangement was just so simple, so simple, so simple. It was just the combination of those voices together, that made it. Yeah. And Q couldn't do nothing but just sit back and listen. Like, yeah, this gonna be good. This gonna be good. Yeah. This is a masterpiece. It sounded like nothing else on the radio. Nothing. Yep. No horns, no strings, just keyboard, guitar, bass, keyboard, more keyboard, and them singing in harmony. That's it. There's a bunch of keyboard on there. Nothing but keyboard. Mm. That's how my one of my mentors, one of my idols, show. Movies Mood for Love, King Pleasure, um, Mr. Frankie Crockett show with that. That's going to do it for me, Albert. Thank you so much for staying up with me. To everyone who followed me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, I do appreciate it. KP, thank you. Ken Washington, you, Oakland, I should say. Troy Anthony, you too. Thank you for the inspiration for the Blue Eyed Soul tonight. Also to my sister from another mister, Angie, and Deron Williams, who's always first when I do Facebook Live. I appreciate you. Till next time, blue skies, green lights, and peace. Good night, Miss Delicious. And we are done. That is it. Adios. Peace.